नमस्कार। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत प्रथम भाग सप्तम खंड और द्वितीय परिच्छेद। We are reading from the second chapter of the seventh section of the first volume of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, the first volume of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali. And in this particular chapter, Sri Ramakrishna is telling about the vision of the goddess, and even in the clay image, the spiritual illumination always is present. It is not just a toy or just a simple image. No, the moment a clay image of a goddess is made, goddess reflects, manifests in that clay image and makes it spiritually illumined. Mrunmoy adhare chinmoy devi. And Sri Ramakrishna is going to tell us about his experience, the experience that he had at Vishnupur at the temple of Brunmai, the goddess Brunmai. In our previous reading, we have seen Sri Ramakrishna talking to M and his visit to uh, one Malik in Borobajar at Chashadhupa Para. And Sri Ramakrishna had told about the condition of these Maliks was so very bad. I mean, the financial status, that the house was in such a dilapidated condition. Everywhere you walk in that house, the floor is you will find the pigeon droppings, moss accumulated on the floor and the walls, and the plaster is coming out, that all that powder of cement and lime and dust, brick dust is all falling down. That was such a shabby condition house. And Sri Ramakrishna says it was not like the house of other Maliks that I have visited. In those houses, the houses of other Maliks, the kind of prosperity is there in those houses. That prosperity is not here in this house at all. অন্য মলিকদের বাড়ির যেমন দেখেছি এ বাড়ির সে শ্রী নয়. That Sri is prosperity. The Sri is epithet for goddess Lakshmi, indicating prosperity. Sri Ramakrishna says that in this house that prosperity was not there. Now Sri Ramakrishna asked Master Moshe, what does this mean? এর মানে কি বলো দেখি, tell me, what does it mean? And Sri M, he couldn't reply anything. He just kept quiet. Master চুপ করিয়া আছেন. He couldn't reply this question of Sri Ramakrishna. What does this mean? And then Sri Ramakrishna himself gave the answer. And he said, কি জানো, যার যা কর্মের ভোগ আছে তা তার করতে হয়. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that one must accept whatever fruits one has to bear for the karmas done in the past. সংস্কার প্রারব্ধ এসব মানতে হয়, the past impressions, the prarabdha karma, one must accept all these things. This house of Malik in this condition, unlike the houses of other Maliks, indicates, I mean, fine, they have to undergo the things that they have done in the past. They have undergo the fruits of the things, that deeds that they have done in the past. They have to undergo, they have to accept the prarabdha karma. They have to undergo that process of fulfilling what is due to be paid back. Nothing more, nothing less. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, আর পোড়া বাড়িতে দেখলুম যে সেখানেও সিংহবাহিনীর মুখের ভাব জল জল করেছে. In this shabby house, in this dilapidated house, I saw that the goddess Simavayini, that image that is being worshipped in that house, that image, it is fully spiritually illumined. It is just it is not just a simple clay image for that matter. Although the surroundings in that house may be in a shabby condition, maybe in such a poor condition that the surroundings is not at all well maintained, but the goddess, but the image that is there in that house, that image, there is a divine presence in that image. I could feel that divine presence, Sri Ramakrishna says. Jol Jol Korechi, it is illumining, it is shining forth with all the spiritual glory. And Sri Ramakrishna says that now he is specifically telling Sri M. Abhirbhav mante hoye. Sri M, who had at one point of time a staunch follower of God without form, Nirakar, he had told Sri Ramakrishna, I believe in Nirakar, and Sri Ramakrishna had told him, that is very good. It is very good that you believe in God without form, but don't think that is the only truth. God with form is also very much the truth, like God without form. And again, here Sri Ramakrishna is re emphasizing that point to his beloved child, Master Moshai, that Abhirbhav mante hoye. That one must believe, one must accept the divine presence in an image of the deity also. One must believe in the God with form also, and the divine, not only just form, the divine presence in that form. It may be made out of anything, maybe made out of clay, or maybe made out of brass, or maybe made out of any metal. But the moment that clay or mud or metal is given a form of a deity, immediately the divine presence gets manifested in that form. And Sri Ramakrishna again brings this point to the notice of his beloved child, that Abhirbhav mante hoy. Now Sri Ramakrishna is talking about his visit to uh, Vishnupur. Now, all of us, we know that how Vishnupur, in fact, as a place, is so well connected with the life of our dear Ma. She has visited Vishnupur so many times on her journeys from Jairambati to Calcutta, or from Calcutta to Jairambati, taking a train to Vishnupur, going to Kolpada, then to Jairambati, or coming to from Jairambati, coming to Kolpada, coming to Vishnupur, taking the train, and then coming to Calcutta, and then to her Mayarbadi, her house in Bagh Bazar. So this Vishnupur, the same Vishnupur that our Ma is associated with, Sri Thakur is referring to his visit at one point of time. আমি একবার বিষ্ণুপুরে গেছিলাম. Sri Ramakrishna says, once I had gone to Bishnupur. Rajar বেশ সব ঠাকুরবাড়ি আছে. Says the king has such a beautiful temple there. He has constructed a beautiful temple. সেখানে ভগবতীর মূর্তি আছে, নাম মৃন্ময়ী. Sri Ramakrishna says, there in that temple there is an image of a goddess. That goddess is termed as Mrunmoyi. It is a temple of the goddess Mrunmoyi. And Sri Ramakrishna is narrating his experience of visiting that temple of Mrunmoyi. Thakur Badir kache boro dighi. He says there are a lot of ponds near that temple. Krishna Bandh, Lal Bandh. The temple is surrounded by ponds. One is Krishna Bandh, one is Lal Bandh. And Sri Ramakrishna says, আচ্ছা, দিঘিতে আবাঠার মাথা ঘষার গন্ধ পেলুম কেন বলো দেখি? Sri Ramakrishna suddenly says, the moment I came near that pond, said, I got a smell. I could actually smell the ointment that ladies apply on their head. And he said, can you tell me why? Why? Suddenly, the moment I reached that pond, I had that smell. I could perceive that smell. I could smell that smell of the ointment that the ladies, the women folk, they normally apply it to their head. Now, Sri Ramakrishna says that, can you tell me why I had that perception of that smell? And then Sri Ramakrishna says, আমি তো জানতুম না আমি তো জানতুম না যে মেয়েরা মৃন্ময়ী দর্শন সময়ে আবাটা তাকে দেয়। He said, I didn't know that time that the women folk, when they visit the goddess, they offer that ointment which normally they apply to their hair. They offer that ointment to the deity. I never knew it. But the moment I reached that pond, I could just perceive that smell of the ointment. And I had a feeling, oh, such a beautiful smell. And Sri Ramakrishna says, that time I didn't know that this is the practice which is being followed normally. But even then, I got that smell. Can you tell me why? And then, আবার দিঘির কাছে আমার ভাব সমাধি হলো। And Sri Ramakrishna says, just near that pond, as I had that smell, as I had that smell of the ointment which is applied to the hair, I entered samadhi. I got into ecstasy. I went into trance. আমার ভাব সমাধি হলো। তখন বিগ্রহ দেখি নই। And he says, before till then, I mean, I just had got into the trance. I had not even seen the goddess inside the temple. I just smelling that smell which is offered, the oil which is normally which are offered by these devotees to the goddess. Sri Ramakrishna, suddenly he had that understanding that, oh, that such is the practice. He had never gone there earlier. He had never seen even the deity. What is the image like? He was not aware of this practice being followed by the devotees of offering that oil which is applied to the hair. But he could, the moment he got that smell, Sri Ramakrishna became one with the Divine Mother. He just went into trance. He just went into that ecstatic mood, that Bhava Samadhi. And Sri Ramakrishna says, till then I had not even seen that goddess. What is that form like? What is that image like? তখন বিগ্রহ দেখি নই. I had not even seen the image. আবেশে সেই দিঘির কাছে মৃন্ময়ী দর্শন হলো কোমর পর্যন্ত. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, in that ecstatic mood itself, in that trance, in that spiritual fervor, I had the vision of the goddess Mrunmayi, which is worshipped there inside the temple, which Sri Ramakrishna has never seen so far. Sri Ramakrishna said, I had the vision of goddess Mrunmayi rising up from that lake, waist up. Suddenly he saw that vision of the Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna, I mean, just some kind of association, and he used to get into that state of divine inebriation and get merged, become one with his beloved Divine Mother. So what he was later to see in that temple, he got the darshan, he got the vision right there at the temple. Look at his the oneness of his mind, how much he was merged in the Divine Mother. Any small trigger, and he would get merged. He would get the vision. He would become one with the mother, getting into that state of trance, getting into that state of bhava samadhi. And here at this pond, the Lal Pond or Krishna Pond, that the moment he came there, he smelled, he realized there is some smell of the ointment or oil that woman put on their head. He was not aware that that is the practice, that to offer that oil to the goddess, to the deity inside the temple. Just that smell, just that association, and straight vision of the Divine Mother he had in the form of that Brunmai, from the waist up, the mother rising from the water of that pond and blessing her dear divine child Sri Ramakrishna with that great blessed vision. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's vision of the goddess Mrunmoyi at the pond at Vishnupur, even before visiting the temple. So that is the happening that Sri Ramakrishna has beautifully shared with the devotees, with Sri M, and also incidentally other and uh, uh, Balram were also there, sitting in front of Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna shared his past experience, his vision with the three of these beloved children, and also with all of us through the grace of Sri M in the form of the Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. So this was our reading for the day of the second chapter, and our next reading will also continue with the second chapter itself, where Sri Ramakrishna is going to tell us about the the happiness and the misery of the devotees that they always undergo. Devotees, they are a peculiar lot. In fact, devotees undergo miseries much more than any other people. And Sri Ramakrishna is going to talk about the joy and misery, the sukha and dukkha of the devotees, and also some stories from Bhagavad and Mahabharata. So that is going to be our reading for the next. Till then, Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.